Everyone has noticed that items are more expensive than ever and increasingly difficult to find. Most of the supplies that people require, not available. Will the coming year usher forth a new era of abundance in our supply chains? Will we be let down, or will we be pleasantly surprised? Let's break down this video. At a point, production lines were strained to the breaking point, forcing individuals to search for toilet roll and other necessities. However, everyone has had the experience of going to a store and not being able to find what they're looking for. Many of the product stocks outs that we will witness today can be traced back to the pandemic disruptions. The halt of lockdowns and virus outbreaks does not mean that every link that has been damaged across the sophisticated logistics network has magically reconnected and that prices have returned to their previous levels. Although many of the present supply chain concerns have their origins in the pandemic, they are not entirely caused by the pandemic today, according to Nicholas Ellis, partner at an international law practice. The health crisis provided the ideal stress test for our distribution and manufacturing systems. Most of the supply chains were basically shut down in 2020, but Ellis stressed that restoring things like the global supply system isn't as simple as flipping a switch. Different segments of the chain were released at different times, but occasionally breakouts and shutdowns, as well as manpower shortages and other challenges, frequently combined to produce blockages and disruptions, particularly near the ports. All of this was accompanied by a significant increase in demand for specific items. As a result of these and other obstacles, the beginning was rocky for many enterprises, and persistent issues have simply prevented the supply chain from returning to pre-pandemic levels of efficiency, Ellis noted. While the health crisis exacerbated those concerns, it also revealed gaps in the industry's infrastructure and processes that had been present all along, as stated by Brian Allister, General Manager of North America Finance and Risk. As we enter the new year, supply chain risks remained elevated within firms, particularly those most exposed to shortages and labor disruptions, he says. Some of the biggest challenges that businesses are encountering today are restricted manufacturing and transportation to get their goods. Businesses will face the metaphorical death in 2023. According to Allister, expenditures for all types of expenses, from salaries to materials to napkins in the cafeteria to laundry for corporate uniforms, are all increasing. Furthermore, every shipping delay, every loss of productivity raises the company's overall cost and reduces the efficiency on which current global supply chains rely, as the expert notes. Similarly, Ellis continued that while many people expect a speedy return to normalcy, there are numerous grounds to suspect that this will not occur in the near future. In addition to environmental disaster and fertilizer scarcity, the recession is projected to exacerbate many of the challenges that businesses and consumers are already dealing with. Every year, U.S. farmers take a short-term variable interest rate loans to pay for supplies ranging from seeds and fertilizer to feeding livestock and farm machinery, according to the Department of Agriculture. But aggressive interest rate hikes spanning from 0% to 6.57% in a time frame of just 9 months have increased the cost of farming practices and, in many cases, rendered planting and animal raising unprofitable. According to USDA data, the agricultural sector's total interest expenses are expected to reach approximately $26.5 billion this year, a nearly 32% growth from 2022. The increased costs force farmers to choose whether to reduce their crops and livestock herds or endure growth as to repay greater loans. The USDA reports that the global fertilizer crisis caused by the dispute between Russia and Ukraine has had a direct impact on U.S. crop production over the past year. Fertilizer is currently in short supply for farmers, and prices are 70 to 100% higher than a year ago. This is an impressive amount, especially given that fertilizer accounts for more than one-third of many farmers' overall operating cost. Government officials predict that the situation will worsen in 2023, additionally increasing environmental disasters and contributing to worsening food shortages across the country. Analysts reveal that California's devastating drought has resulted in empty rice fields and a 10 to 15% loss of viable farmland. In other words, lost agricultural income from previous crops means less money and land to produce the foods we consume every day. Everything from milk sectors to almonds has been impacted, according to experts. I think that's a huge concern to the United States amid drought and depleting water supplies. We really haven't launched any new programs to help farmers with disasters across America, says Daniel Sumner, a professor of agricultural economics at UC Davis. A poll performed by the American Farmer Bureau Federation indicated about 3/4 of farmers reported a decline in harvest yields owing to drought in the preceding 12 months, the expert explains. In an interview with USA Today, Florida citrus grower John Matz said that Hurricane Ian destroyed more than half of his crops. Ian blowing fruits off all of his trees is truly heartbreaking. At last, he added that about 2/3 of his ranches and cattle were lost. Farmers stated that selling off livestock reduced the national herd size by 36%, with certain regions such as Texas experiencing 50% decreases. New Mexico saw a 43% decline, while Oregon lost 41% of all of its beef cattle. Look at Texas and how big they have become in the beef industry, Nash remarked. It's a really tragic situation that exists when farmers have to sell off their cattle so aggressively. Sadly, the doom and gloom didn't halt the global scarcity of grains. Carbon dioxide, wood pulp, as well as other commodities will impact the availability of thousands of items in 2023. According to food analysts, bread flour, oatmeal, vegetable oil, corn, soft drinks made from tomatoes, canned items, champagne, frozen products, coffee, etc., people may have to search around to use other types of paper towel and toilet paper from now on. In the meantime, shoppers are grappling with reduced supplies of daily things. Merchants are stocking an overabundance of merchandise that consumers are no longer interested in buying. They've been trying all they can to move the merchandise out of the doorway as profits continue to build. Things have changed dramatically in the last 2 years, and there is now too much inventory for merchants to sell, according to Nicola Kinzella, SVP of Global Marketing at Fluent Commerce. Because of supply chain challenges, vendors overordered general products to make up for last year's deficiencies. However, as a result of the economic crisis, they are now drowning in unsold inventory. In other circumstances, they'll be able to replenish essential stockpiles after getting rid of the goods that are now occupying their warehouses, which may take some time. While it's difficult to respond to a spike in demand, particularly one that is across a wide range, it is especially difficult now that Americans are limiting their spending and just purchasing necessities. In many ways, suppliers and retailers are still playing catch-up, says Shanton Wilcox, U.S. manufacturing head at PA Consulting. The executive further stated that in addition to grocery and other staples, there will be an acute shortage of products such as medicine. This winter, a nationwide shortage of many high-profile prescription medications, such as the antibiotic amoxicillin, as well as the ADHD treatment Adderall, may leave store seashells empty and patients with rash and tablets until supplies are replenished. Parents are also reporting a shortage of over-the-counter pain relievers and fever reducers for their sick children. According to Wilcox, some pharmaceuticals are more prone to shortage due to their lack of economic incentives to create them. Manufacturing disruptions, labor concerns, and ingredient shortages are restricting access to critical pharmaceuticals across the country. Despite the fact that the United States is a significant producer of new pharmaceuticals for the world, it is mainly reliant on other countries for their manufacture. A number of raw components used in the manufacture of pharmaceuticals are obtained from only 2 nations, that is China and India, revealed by Bindya Vakil, the chief executive officer of Resilinet, a company that maps and analyzes pharmaceutical supply network in order to provide clients with the early warning. When traveling, any manufacturer interruption in China or India can have a ripple effect on the supplies of many products, including prescriptions and over-the-counter medicine. But even with normal levels of production, high demand during a tough cold and flu season like the one the United States is currently experiencing can make it difficult for families to find what they're looking for. And so far, there appears to be no relief in sight for the many bottlenecks. Supply chains are still dealing with issues, which are becoming more pervasive, and additional shortages appear in manufacturers. As additional shortages appear in manufacturers and retailers' capacity to refill inventory remains hampered. The vexing situation will have a significant influence on the lives of millions of Americans. Will the situation improve or not? To be on the safe side, we should all stay attentive and prepare for the worst before things worsen again. What do you believe will be a viable solution to these current issues? Share your thoughts in the comments.